So anybody that really knows me knows that I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. WWE, WCW, ECW, AEW. I love it all. Longtime fan. So when Netflix was like, hey, we're going to do a documentary on Vince McMahon, I'm like, whoa, this is going to be interesting. And then when all the stuff with the hush money came out and the huge lawsuit from Janelle Grant, it's like, oh my God, this is going to be very interesting. And while it does get into that, mostly in the final episode, there's not really much to it. It doesn't tell us anything that we don't know. And I think that's because it came up so quickly, and towards the end of filming, they themselves didn't have time to really get into it and investigate it themselves. There's even a comment that when the allegations came out, Vince refused to do the final interviews. He canceled them. So it's like, okay, why? Because as it's pointed out throughout the 6 episodes, Vince is a man who defends himself. Lawsuit, he's defending himself. He's doing interviews saying, I'm not this person, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But then all of this happens. All he does is release a statement saying, I'm going to defend myself. And that's it. Like, he didn't actually do anything. He's just sitting in the background letting his lawyer do all the work, which, understandable, these are some pretty serious allegations. Now, the documentary itself as a whole, it doesn't really say anything that I didn't already know as a longtime fan. In the age of the internet, everything is out there. So, all the allegations from Rita Chatterton, from Sable, from Ashley Mazzaro, the steroid trial, all of it, everything, I already knew. All this really did was have direct comments from Vince McMahon. That's it. So any and all information that was said, it's like, I knew this. This isn't a surprise. One thing that did kind of shock me, though, was Stone Cold Steve Austin saying outright he doesn't believe in CTE. It's like, plenty of evidence for it, especially Chris Benoit, which they did get into, but that's also something that's been dug into so many times. I know the story. There's also way less wrestlers being interviewed for this. Like Hulk Hogan's all over the place because he was the guy in the 80s. We hear a little bit from The Rock. We hear from Stone Cold Steve Austin. We hear from Trish Stratus. Wendy Richter because of that controversy that happened. The original Screwjob. We also hear from Bret Hart, and it gets into the Montreal Screwjob and Owen's unfortunate death. But it's like a lot of reporters. Not too much wrestlers. And Tony Atlas, just randomly. It's like, okay. So, ultimately, Mr. McMahon. It's not really that interesting. It's definitely one-sided. The documentary definitely wants to paint Vince as the bad guy, and he looks like a terrible person at times, especially with some of his own comments. But like any documentary, it's always one-sided, one way or the other. Even Bruce Pritchett, he makes comments, it's marked January 2024, so not that long ago, he outright says that it's one-sided. Because he saw a couple of episodes, they let him see them. So, it's like any other documentary, it's set out to have its own goal. And that was to make Vince McMahon look like a piece of shit. Now, he very well could be. Bruce Pritchett had good things to say, but that's one guy. He could be good, and he could be an absolutely amazing person to certain people. But to others, he was garbage. That's the way the world works. That's the way we as people work, unfortunately. We're amazing to some, we're shitty to others. Like, it was cool to see behind-the-scenes footage of, like, WWE shows, but other than that, it was your typical documentary with information that really wasn't anything new. I'm going to give Mr. McMahon, I'm going to give it a C. Did you enjoy the review? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when more reviews go live. Feel free to leave a comment to discuss your thoughts on the movie or show, and I will see you next time.